Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rabbi Shalom Yemini, and each week we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find practical and insightful ways to enhance your daily life. This week's Parsha Perspective is in loving memory of Edward Ben Efraim, Shlomo ben Edward, and Yirachmiel Daniel ben Gedalia. May their souls be uplifted and may their memories be a blessing. This week's Parsha Perspective is in honor of the Refuah Shlema of HaRav Amitai ben Shoshanna and Shaul ben Berta. May they have a complete and quick recovery. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Vayishlach, Parting God's Interruption. Our Parsha begins with Ya'akov Avinu returning home to Cana'an after more than 20 years of absence. But still fearful of Esav, Yaakov sent messengers with a message of reconciliations to Esav. However, they returned with a grim report. Esav was preparing to greet him with 400 men. In response, Yaakov sent him an extravagant gift of hundreds of cattle, donkey, and camels. He then split his camp into two, so if one camp was attacked, the other part of the family, the other camp, would be able to escape, and then he turned to God to pray. The night before he came face to face with Esav, he moved his family and belongings across the Yabok River. After everyone crossed except for him, Yaakov met an angel, and they started to wrestle and fought until dawn when the angel wanted to go. But Yaakov refused to let him go until the angel blessed him. So the angel gave Yaakov a new name, Yisrael, the Prince of God, the Minister of God. And after 20 years apart, Yaakov and Esav finally meet once again. Yaakov bowed down before Esav 7 times and then embraced him as they both cried together. Esav then said, "Who are all these people that are with you?" And Yaakov replied, "These are the children whom God gifted your servant." Esav then said, "But what were all the herds of cattle that I saw before we met?" And Yaakov answered that these were all gifts for you. But Esav responded, "I don't need them, I have more than enough." But Yaakov pleaded with him, and Esav eventually accepted all of Yaakov's gifts. However, a question comes to mind. The Parsha interrupts the account of how Yaakov was preparing to meet his brother just to tell us that he fought an angel. But why does the Torah describe the story of how Yaakov battled an angel for the entire night? What does this add to the overall narrative of Yaakov meeting Esav? Rashi, Rav Shlomo Yitzchaki, the leading commentary on the Torah, writes that this was no ordinary angel, but in fact it was Esav's personal guardian angel, and therefore Yaakov had to first overcome him before meeting his brother Esav, making this fight a crucial part of the story of Yaakov meeting Esav. However, the Rashbam, Rav Shmuel ben Meir, one of Rashi's grandsons, gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He answers this question by explaining what Yaakov's real plan was when he crossed the Yabok River. He writes that Yaakov's intention when crossing the river was to run the other way, not to meet his evil brother Esav. So God sent an angel to block and stop Yaakov from fleeing from Esav. The Rashbam continues that this was done so God could keep his promise to Yaakov that he would return home safely. As the Pasuk writes at the beginning of last week's Parsha, V'hine anochi imach ushmarticha b'chol asher telech ve'eshevesicha el adama hazois ki lo ya'azvecha ad asher asisi eis asher dibarti lecha. God says to Yaakov, "Remember that I am with you, and I will protect you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, and I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Yaakov thought that he could maneuver and bypass Esav, but God interrupted that plan so Yaakov can fulfill his destiny. God wanted Yaakov to earn his new name Yisrael, the Prince of God, so God could give him the strength, power, and endurance to overcome Esav both physically and spiritually. This power and strength were passed on to the Jewish nation to keep our beliefs in the face of adversity. Therefore, the fight between Yaakov and the angel is not just an interruption of his plan and part of Yaakov's journey, but rather this fight is a core component of our history, of our story as the Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. This lesson is ever more prevalent as we quickly approach Hanukkah, the holiday of light, because the days are getting shorter and the nights longer, symbolizing the darkness potentially ruling our lives. But Hanukkah represents God's holy light pushing away the darkness and interrupting our lives with His holiness and blessings. In our daily life, we must be mindful and open to the unique opportunities that God places in our lives. This means not placing ourselves in a box and restricting ourselves to what we think our potential is. Rather, constantly strive for growth and improvement, enabling us to take advantage of God seemingly interrupting our lives. There is a powerful quote about opportunities. Opportunities are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.